My June recap using OddsJam, right? So at the beginning of the month, I used one strategy, Kelly criterion. Then I went back to my old strategy. And then I went back to Kelly criterion to finish out the month. So we're going to take a look at the entire month, dive into those numbers. I'm going to explain to you which strategy I'm going to use moving forward. So if you are new to betting or if you're a seasoned vet, this is going to be a very helpful video for you. So stick around with me for a few minutes because I'm going to provide you a lot of value. You're going to see how many bets I'm wagering, how much money I'm wagering, so you can get a little bit of a sense and an idea of, how well you could do if you're using OddsJam or you're thinking about using OddsJam. So let's dive into these numbers, guys. Let's do it. All right, a couple things before we hop into the numbers, right? In the description, 1 week free trial to OddsJam. Highly recommend you try it out. Also, my personal bet tracker that we're going to look in the numbers as. I use OddsJam's bet tracker, but my personal bet tracker will be linked in the description as well, right? And if you're thinking about you want to try OddsJam, all right, use my code Billy20. It's going to save you 20% off every month. It's going to help me out a lot. And guys, just don't pay full price. Whatever tool that you want to use with OddsJam, use my code. It's going to save you a lot of money. And then lastly, guys, if you like this type of content, smash the thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment. All right. I want to hear your feedback on how your June went. You kind of, if any of you guys have been following me, see my videos in the past, I'm going back and forth. So I'd love to hear if you think that the Kelly criterion method is working for you, or maybe you're using my old betting strategy. Maybe that's working for you, right? So I want to hear from you. Okay. So for my month of June, I didn't lose $4,500. And I'll show you why. I lost just over $4,000 because this doesn't include my prize picks plays or underdog fantasy, though I didn't do any underdog fantasy in June. I did some prize picks plays. And so for June, I lost just over $4,000. I had gambled 27 days, only had 10 winning days, and I had 17 losing days. So for the first 10 days in June, I used the Kelly criterion method, right? I'll link in the description my video that I made for this if you want to see my settings. But essentially, I placed 369 bets, and I lost $3,700 in those 10 days. After that 10 days, I made a kind of an emergency video explaining we're not doing this anymore, right? This is terrible. And so I went back to my old betting strategy. I ran with my old betting strategy from July 11th to July 15th, placed 122 wagers, and I lost $739, right? So you're like, well, Billy, like your old strategy wasn't working for you either. Yeah, but I've also had 7 straight profitable months up until the month of June. So I had a lot of confidence in it. But then I was kind of torn because I wasn't being honest and faithful to you guys, right? I wanted to give it the full month. So then I went back to the Kelly criterion on June 16th. Now, I stuck with the Kelly criterion on June 16th all the way to June 28th. I had a golf vacation and I went to North Carolina. So from the 22nd to the 25th, I didn't place any bets. I was on a true vacation, which was pretty interesting. But as you can see here in the notes, I said back to my new strategy, but lowered my settings. So I lowered the Kelly criterion to a $12,000 bankroll with a 0.3, which is on the more conservative side. 0.5 is very aggressive, 0.3. And I was placing bets in between a plus 250 to minus 250 range with the market width under 40 cents. And I lost $450, basically $448.91 over that time. So that's not all that terrible. But at the end of the day, I just wasn't very satisfied. I wasn't very happy with what was going on. So on June 29th, I went back to my old betting strategy, and I'm going to stay there for good. So in a short time in my old betting strategy, within now 5 days of betting, I've already had 4 profitable days. And in just 5 days of betting, I've already made almost $2,300. So a couple things, variance is helping me out. And, as you can see, my 1 unit size here on June 29th was $200. I moved that up to $250 for a 1 unit size. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, stick around because I'm going to explain to you exactly my old betting strategy. And there's going to be a new wrinkle. I'm tinkering with it a little bit because I downloaded all of my bets from 2023 from January to the midpoint of June. I dove into the numbers. I made a video on that. I'll link in the description. It was very insightful. And so it helped me carve out my new path for my old betting strategy. Just going to make a couple different tweaks. So guys, you could see here in June, the last 2 days when I switched to my old betting strategy, you could see those numbers here, right? And then so far in July, I'm up $1,600. I have one bet pending tonight. So even if I lose this bet that's currently going on in MLS, I'm still going to have a positive day today. So really nice start. Feels nice to start the month off. You're up some dough. You're like, okay, hey, that whole experiment that happened in June, we're just going to go back to this. So let's look at, I'm going to show you a tab on my personal bet tracker. I think it's going to be very insightful and to show you the new wrinkles that I'm going to add for July moving forward. One thing I'm going to note, guys, if you want a copy of all of my bets that I placed in 2023 thus far, so if you wanted to do some of your own research or analysis, it's a pretty large file, but just comment in this video or reach out to me on Twitter, and I'll be happy to send it to you so that you can kind of do some digging for yourself. Because if nothing else, I'm a guy that places wagers every single day. So if you're interested in signing up for OddsJam, or maybe you're just using OddsJam for like a couple weeks, you can use my data and my bets that I'm placing as a barometer. You can kind of get a feel for maybe where you want to go. But what I'm going to share with you here on this page, it's going to be very helpful. So I went back and pulled all my bets, and this is all of my 2023 bets by the odds that I placed them in, right? And so this is just the odds. When I placed the bet, what odds did I get, right? So it's not the no vig fair odds here because I can't calculate that. I can't pull that data from OddsJam. But this is just when I placed the wager, if I got the odds at plus 110, then it goes into these categories. And so there is something that I'm going to just tweak a little bit moving forward. And the tweak, guys, is typically in the past, if you would have ran across my video maybe a month or 2 months ago, I would have told you that I only made me bet up to plus 130 for the no vig fair odds. But I am going to extend that all the way up to plus 190, right? And as you can see, from plus 190 to plus 150, I've made 219 bets, and, I have made $640 in this bet range. And it's still a small sample size, but I'm definitely going to take these bets now. So if I see it, though, I'm going to obviously, I'm not going to be putting full units on it. We're going to get into how much I'm going to put on here a little bit down the road in this video. But, that's kind of the new wrinkle, is I am going to be placing wagers in the plus 140 to plus 199 range. A small sample size here for the plus 200s, the plus 250s. It's only 40 bets. And I lost $1,000, just over $1,000. But for right now, I'm just going to stay in this area. And we're also going to keep that market with, at the max, 40 cents. So anything under 40 cents, I'm going to bet it. As you can see here, guys, because obviously the screen takes up the rest of the point. If you wanted to see, plus 100 to plus 109, I need to do a deeper dive on this odds range to find out what's going on. If you're familiar with my most recent videos, I'm going to stay away from player prop bets other than pitcher strikeouts. Though I did make 3 pitcher player out bets today, 1-1, lost 2 of them. Basically, that netted out to about $112 loss. But I'm going to basically stick with just player strikeouts. But as you can see, anything that's minus 101 and better, I've been very successful at. So if you really wanted to take a super sharp approach, if you're just simply looking at my numbers, if you wanted to keep it anything under plus 149 to minus 250, I have a lot of data here that suggests that you should do that, right? That's over 4,000 bets, and that is a profit of $10,400. So if you wanted to just kind of even curtail it to below that, I think those are enough bets in these odds range to give you comfort knowing that you can make a lot of money in these ranges. Again, guys, if you want this bet tracker, it's linked in the description so you can have all these tabs for yourself. It's a lot of work, guys. If there's one thing that I do, I love doing this. So this isn't work for me, but I understand if you're new to this, this is a lot of work. You don't have to go in this type of detail. I do this for myself. I do this for you guys because I'm very serious about making money using OddsJam. And I want to show you if I make money or if I lose money. I want to be completely transparent with you. But the bet tracker in OddsJam is more than sufficient if you want to use it, right? But I've been doing this now for 2 years. So I love getting deep in the weeds and getting very analytical with this type of stuff. Now, if you've seen my videos in the past, I have this EV breakdown tool that basically the EV percentage, I put the plays in here. And one area that I wanted to get exposure to is under 1% plays. And at the time, and one thing with this table is, I have to probably do a 2023 table because this is when I signed back up with OddsJam on Halloween. But obviously, under 1% plays, I do very well, and I've made almost $1,700. I've placed over 350 bets in this range. But I added a new wrinkle that we're going to start tracking. Is, as of June 29th, the kind of 0.5 to 0.99% plays, I've made $121. And then anything below a half percentage on the EV page, we've made 17 bets so far. I've made $341. All right, guys. And also, if you're enjoying this type of content, I want to bring it to you, please subscribe. Would mean a lot. And also smash that thumbs up button. Helps me out tremendously. So moving forward now for the month of July, the Kelly criterion method, I'm not saying that doesn't work. It just didn't work for me, right? And maybe, Billy should have had more patience and stuck with it for 3 or 4 months and really collected a couple hundred or thousand of bets to really get a good idea. But at the end of the day, you need to do what's comfortable for you. This works for me. So moving forward, guys, we're going to expand that odds range to a -250 to +190. As you can see here, if it's -130 to -250, I'm going to put a full unit on it. This is kind of constantly changing, guys, because I'm just tinkering with it. But, you don't have to follow this concretely. You can kind of make it your own or whatever you're comfortable with. Anything that's -121 to -101, we're going to use 90%. Obviously, this is the no vig fair odds. Don't forget that. And, if I'm going off the low holds page or the arbitrage page, when I'm calculating that fair win percentage, that's how I can determine it here as well. And then really the big thing is, I'm curtailing it to the +161 to +190s. I'm going just putting 25% of one unit. So that means if I'm betting $250 and that's one unit, 25% of $250 is what I'm going to put on these plays. And lastly, guys, like we mentioned, the under 1% EV plays, essentially, if they fall within the -250 to +120 range, I will put up to 60% of a unit on that play. But that can obviously change a little bit. Maybe I'll put 50% of a unit. It just kind of how I'm feeling at the time. And then obviously, if it falls between +121 to +190, I'm only putting 30% at most. This number could change. It maybe goes to 35%, maybe 40% at the most. But, if it's a +180 bet, then I'm probably going to put 20 or 25% on a play. But I want exposure to these bets because, as you've seen, since Halloween, I've made quite a bit of money on the under 1% plays. So it has an edge. But I also am putting, the reasoning why I'm only putting 60% or 30% of one unit on these under 1% plays is because we don't have that much of a cushion. So if the odds go against us, then it could really hurt me. So I don't want to be fully exposed as having one unit on the play, but I want to have some exposure to it. So that's why I'm not putting a full unit down on, even if it's a -230 bet, but maybe it has 0.3% EV edge. I don't want to be fully exposed because if things shift or Pinnacle changes their odds or starts to see it differently, especially if it's a night before type of bet, I don't want to be fully exposed. So guys, that's my June for OddsJam. And that's, kind of the strategy we're going to be using for moving forward with July and August. Leave a comment. Let me know if you think this is a really dumb strategy. Let me know if you think I'm on to something here. And, I would love to hear from you either way, guys. I really appreciate you stopping by. Hope you had yourself an awesome 4th of July.